Everyone, welcome back to Mentors Academy. So today is the 2nd of October 2025, and as always, we are here to discuss the most important current affairs from the newspapers like the Hindu, the Indian Express, PIB, and also other authentic sources. So remember, these current affairs are extremely relevant for all your competitive exams, including UPSC, CSC, prelims, mains, also CAPF, EPFO, and also all the other state PCS and other exams, right? So let's first quickly look at yesterday's MCQs first and then move to today's key headlines and the articles in detail. So yesterday's MCQ's first question was, with reference to Foreign Contribution Regulation Act 2010, consider the following statements. It is administered by a Ministry of Finance. NGOs must apply for renewal of FCRA registration every 5 years. Foreign contributions can be used by political parties provided they disclose the source. Which of the above statements is or are correct? 1 and 2 only, 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1, 2 and 3. So the correct answer to this question is option B, 2 only, right? So the first statement, it is not administered by Ministry of Finance, rather Ministry of Home Affairs. Ministry of Home Affairs. Second statement is correct, and the third statement is incorrect because political parties, they cannot receive foreign funds. The second question was, consider the following page regarding export incentive schemes in India. MEIS. MEIS stands for merchandise exports from India. First one says MEIS replaced by RoDTEP due to WTO non-compliance. To RoDTEP, it remits unrefunded duties or taxes like mandi tax and power duty. 3. SEIS, a scheme that supports manufacturing exports. How many of the above are correctly matched? Only 1, only 2, all 3, none. The correct answer is option B again, only 2. Right? First statement is right. Yes, MEIS replaced the RoDTEP scheme. And second statement is also correct. RoDTEP is remitting unrefunded duties like mandi and power tax. And third statement is wrong. SEIS, it supports services exports, not manufacturing, right? So let's move on to today's key headlines. So let me read them out for you one by one. In the first, monument conservation will open to private players. Cabinet hikes MSP for 6 rabi crops. Wheat sees 160 rupees increase. Mission for Atmanirbharta in pulses with outlay of over 1,000 crores gets nod. RBI allows banks to fund M&As lend in rupee to residents of India's neighbors. Cabinet clears 4-lane highway passing through Kaziranga. As Amazon's flying rivers weaken with tree loss, scientists warn of severe droughts. So these are key headlines. The first article is about monument conservation, entry of private players. So for the first time, private players are being allowed to participate in monument conservation beyond ASI's traditional role, right? So the Archaeological Survey of India, ASI, it manages more than 3,600 monuments under the AMA SR Act. AMA-SR Act 1958. It stands for Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act 1958. However, poor upkeep, resource crunch, and slow digitalization have been long-standing criticisms. Right? So, government is now introducing a PPP model, public-private partnership model, where private players will help with the conservation, right? Conservation, tourism infrastructure, and even digital interpretation. So experts caution against excessive commercialization. So there is a risk of excessive commercialization as well. So if done right, it can bring in funds and technology, right? By it can bring both funds and technology, while ASI can keep the regulatory control, right? For prelims, it's important to know about ASI and the Act. For mains, heritage preservation versus private sector role, sustainable cultural tourism. The next article is about MSP hike for rabi crops, cabinet decision. So the cabinet has approved MSP hike for 6 rabi crops with wheat up by 160 rupees per quintal. Right, so MSP, so these are the key 6 rabi crops: wheat, barley, gram, masoor or lentil, mustard, safflower. Right, so MSP, the minimum support price, is recommended by the CACP, Commission for Agricultural Costs and Prices. It's declared for 23 crops, very important, right? So the principle is cost plus margin. Very important. Cost plus margin ensuring farmers a fair return. So wheat MSP, right, stands at 2415 per quintal. So other crops like chana, barley, mustard, masoor, safflower also raised. So this decision aims to strengthen farmer income security and ensure procurement stability as well. Right. For prelims, it's very important to know about CACP and the MSP mechanism. For mains, MSP reforms, farm distress, and WTO compatibility. The next article is about Atmanirbharta and Pulses, a scheme very important. So the cabinet approved a new mission worth 1,000 crore rupees to achieve self-reliance in pulses. So India is the largest producer and consumer of pulses. Very important point. Largest producer and consumer of pulses, yet still imports 2 to 3 million tons annually, tur, mainly tur, urad, and also masoor dal. Pulses are not just dietary protein but also enrich soil health as a nitrogen fixing crops. Very important feature of pulses. So it focuses on this scheme is going to focus on high import pulses like tur, urad, and masoor, and high yield seed distribution, MSP procurement, irrigation expansion as well. And the goal is to full self sufficiency in pulses by 2030. Right. So prelims, it's important to know about major pulses and the nitrogen fixation, what is it, and for mains, connect this to food security, reducing agri import dependence, crop diversification. The next article is about RBI relaxes rules on M&A funding, mergers and acquisitions funding, and neighbor lending. Right. So RBI has allowed banks to finance mergers and acquisitions and lend in rupees to residents of India's neighboring countries. So earlier banks were barred from M&A funding to avoid over leveraging, right? So allowing rupee lending international, it will support rupee internationalization and strengthens India's neighborhood first policy as well. It will boost the corporate restructuring and investment. It will reduce dollar dependency for neighbors and also enhances regional integration and financial diplomacy as well. For prelims, it's important to know about RBI's role and rupee internationalization. So INR as a trade currency, and for mains, financial reforms, external sector, and neighborhood diplomacy. The next article is about four-lane highway through Kaziranga. Right, so cabinet cleared a four-lane highway project passing through Kaziranga National Park in Assam. So Kaziranga, so this is the project location exactly. So the Kaziranga National Park is here, right, in Assam. Right, this is the red one is the 86 kilometer length of the proposed four-lane highway. Very important to know about the location of this particular park. Right, so Kaziranga, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is home to one-horned rhinoceros, very important species. So roads around such areas increase risks of wildlife vehicle collisions. It's a concern. So what is the mitigation? Mitigation includes elevated corridors and animal underpasses. Balancing infrastructure growth with conservation challenges is a challenge, right? It is linked to Bharat Mala highway expansion. For prelims, connect this to Kaziranga facts, its location and all, and the Bharatmala scheme. And for mains, development versus conservation and ecological wildlife corridors. The next article is about Amazon's flying rivers deforestation impact. So scientists warn that Amazon's flying rivers are weakening due to deforestation, risking severe droughts. Right, so flying rivers, what are these? So this is the flying river Amazon. So what are the flying rivers exactly? A very important term for your exam. So flying rivers are atmospheric streams of water vapor released by forests, right? They influence rainfall in South America, right, South America and beyond. So Amazon is world's largest rainforest, key climate regulator. Right, so here the tree loss, right, it weakens the hydrological cycle, leading to less rainfall in South America and beyond. Severe droughts, crop failures, and global warming feedbacks are increasing. For India, such global climate shifts can alter the monsoon patterns in India. Right, for prelims, it's important to connect to Amazon rainforest, its location and features, and the hydrological cycle. For mains, global climate linkages and the forest conservation in water security. So that's it for today's current affairs. So these are very key current affairs of today's news. Now let's test your knowledge with the two prelims practice MCQs. So with reference to pulses in India, consider the following statement. Pulses are mostly grown on marginal lands under rain-fed conditions. Pulses are short duration crops and often used in intercropping systems. India is world's largest producer, consumer, and importer of pulses. How many of the above statements? These are correct. One, only two, all three, none. The next question is, consider the following statements. Kaziranga National Park is located on the floodplains of Brahmaputra River and is the UNESCO World Heritage Site. Flying rivers refer to atmospheric moisture streams from the Amazon rainforest that influence rainfall as far as the Indian subcontinent. Both Kaziranga and Amazon Basin are recognized as UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Which of the above statements are correct? Only one. One only, one and two only, two and three only, one, two and three. Please drop your answers in the comment section below. We'll be checking your responses and we'll see the correct answers to these two questions in the next current affairs session. That is tomorrow. We also have two mains practice questions. The first question is, critically analyze the implications of RBI's decision to allow banks to fund mergers and acquisitions and lend in rupee to residents of Indian neighboring countries. How does this align with India's financial diplomacy and neighborhood first policy? 15 marker to 50 words question. Second question is, infrastructure expansion near ecologically sensitive areas such as Kaziranga, coupled with global threats like the weakening of Amazon's flying rivers, highlights the conflict between development and conservation. Discussed with examples. Again, a 15 marker to 50 words question. Right. So that wraps up today's current affairs session of 2nd October 2025. We covered monument conservation reforms, MSP hikes, pulses mission, RBI policy changes, and the Kaziranga highway, and also the Amazon flying rivers, all directly relevant to your exam syllabus. So if you found this session useful and helpful, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Mentors Academy and press that bell icon to not miss any such exam relevant update, right? So I'll see you again tomorrow with another power packed current affairs session. Until then, keep learning, have consistency, and thank you so much for turning in today. Have a good day, you all.